Hey guys, welcome to Microbiology Online. This is a presentation that I always give to my face-to-face classes, but I thought I would do it for you guys too. It's something that I do on the first day of class, just to kind of welcome you to class, let you know who I am. Basically, so you can watch this and be like, no, that chick is really weird. I'm going to drop that class and take someone else. Or whatever. So I just want to let you know also a little bit about my educational background, so you know that you're being taught microbiology by someone who actually knows microbiology. Okay, so this is me. Even though you're not going to see me in person, you know what I look like. So a little bit about my education and work experience. I have an associate's degree from Kirkwood in criminal justice law enforcement. Then I went to UNI. As you can see, I'm a wonderful role model right here, where I got my bachelor's in biology. And then I went on to a little school in Missouri called Southeast Missouri State, and that's where I did a master's in forensic biology. This was pre-CSI, so it was one of the few programs in the United States that existed in forensics at that time. I also figured out while I was there that forensic science was going the way of DNA technology, so I decided to bite the bullet and go ahead and get a master's and a PhD in molecular biology at the State University of New York at Buffalo, in Buffalo, New York, which is the best place to go to graduate school because the weather is terrible. So there's nothing to do there but study and eat chicken wings, a lot of chicken wings. I also have a graduate certificate in death investigation from the University of Florida. I'm also working on my master's in veterinary forensics, which is crimes committed against animals, as you might suspect. Also, I am what's called a CMDI, which is a certified medical legal death investigator. So think of the people who go to death scenes and help the forensic pathologist figure out what the cause and manner of death is. I'm one of those. So I spent 7 years working in research labs and also at a biotech company where I did a lot of microbiology-based immunology and virology. But I spent the majority of my career as a forensic serologist and DNA analyst at the Illinois State Police Lab in Chicago, and then also in Missouri. So I point this out because even though I know a lot of microbiology, I want you to realize that I'm not from a clinical background, and therefore I've never had any patients that were alive, okay? All of the human beings that I dealt with were deceased at the medical examiner's office. So I'm not going to be able to share stories with you, from, say, a nursing background or from a respiratory therapy background. So a lot of you are already working in healthcare, so I really encourage you during class, reach out to me and, tell me clinical stories about what you guys are doing in healthcare so that I can share it with the rest of the class, because I guarantee you that your experiences are useful and that everyone can learn from them. And I certainly can learn from them. I really appreciate hearing about your experiences. Okay, so who am I? I was born and raised in Cedar Rapids. I went to Kennedy High School, which makes me a proud Kennedy Cougar. You can see what year I graduated in the fine print. I'm old. I always like to emphasize that I'm a Kennedy Cougar because when a woman of my age says that she's a proud Cougar, it has some different connotations. There's my beautiful senior picture with feathered hair of the 1980s. So if I had to pick 6 positive words to describe myself, I would say I'm compassionate to my students. My students go through a lot of stuff in terms of life. A lot of you have lived a lot of life already. So when you run into obstacles, I'm very compassionate with that. I'm loyal to my students, meaning that I'm always going to pick doing your grading first over, say, an administrative function like a committee meeting. And sometimes that gets me in trouble with my boss, but hey, I figured I'm hired to teach. That's what I'm supposed to do. So you always come first. I'm very loyal to you. I'm very passionate about microbiology, which I know makes me a nerd, and I kind of embrace that. I'm a proud nerd, but I think micro is really cool, and it relates to everyone. It doesn't matter if you're going into healthcare or not. Anyone can, value from learning about microbes because they affect all of us. Just think of things like antibiotic resistance, which is a huge problem. So whether you're in healthcare or you're a patient, it's going to affect you. And there's a lot of stuff in micro that's just super interesting. And hopefully I'll be able to convey some of that to you. Okay. I try really hard to not be boring. I'm very non-judgmental. Remember, I spent most of my career in forensic science dealing with sex offenders and rapists and murderers. So there's nothing that you can tell me that I haven't either heard before or is going to freak me out. Okay. So don't hesitate to reach out to me if you're having issues. I'm very strong in the sense that I don't allow nonsense in my classroom. Obviously, that applies more to in-face classes than online. And I tend to be a goofball, okay? You can probably tell that if you watched any of my TikToks. At least I didn't put the dance videos up. Those are cringeworthy. Yeah, I do tend to be a goofball. I try not to swear in my lectures, but yeah, kind of a nerd. So a couple of things about me. I got in trouble at Kirkwood because I got a teaching award and I had to have my picture taken. And I happened to be wearing my human centipede sweater. If you guys have ever seen the movie Human Centipede, if you haven't, don't watch it. It is god awful. But anyway, I got in trouble for not wearing appropriate attire. Got a very scathing email, just so you know. So, yep. Also, as you saw, if you watched my Corn Throne TikTok, I do own this chair. It was actually on eBay for a ridiculously large amount, and I bid on it thinking, oh, it'll be funny just to say I bid on it, and then I won it, and the next thing I know, this huge Corn Throne is being delivered to my house. So anyway, I just kind of embraced it, and it's a fun chair to have. I'm a proud band nerd. Also, I marched in the drum line up at UNI all 4 years, and I always go back and march in the alumni band. So yeah, I love drum corps videos. I love all of that stuff, especially when it's drum line stuff. Here's my luggage. Okay, so I once had my luggage accidentally taken, because when they come off the airplane, a lot of people have black bags or like they're navy blue and they all look alike. Okay, so I bought this luggage and so far no one has wanted to take it. So yay me, that's a win. I also, when I fly, I travel with this pillow that you can see right here. And yeah, I actually wear it. I added the googly eyes to it because I don't know what it is about me. I have like a Midwestern face that says, talk to me and tell me your life story and all of your problems. And when I'm on a plane, I'm terrified because I hate flying and I just want to be left alone. So I found that if I wear this travel pillow, people assume that I'm profoundly mentally ill and they tend to leave me alone. So yay, another win. One of the things I like to do too is try to make a serial killer pose when I have my driver's license picture taken. So sometimes I get busted by the DMV person. They tell me to, stop that, quit that expression that you're doing. But here I've gotten away with it twice. I think it's a good serial killer look. Okay, crazy eyes. Okay, so here's my biggest dirty little secret. I love ABBA, okay? And ABBA was a supergroup of the 1970s. Even if you've never heard of them, I guarantee if you're on TikTok at all, you've heard their music because they're used in a lot of TikTok sounds. And yeah, I've loved them since the 1970s. So there are a whole bunch of ABBA tribute bands that tour the country, and I love to go hear them. And I always wear a Swedish flag unitard. Okay, I call them fake ABBA. So here I am with this fake ABBA. And then they usually ask me to dance on stage with them, which I do in my unitard. Here's another version of fake ABBA. So yeah, I'm going to see them on October 12th of this year. I'm super excited. But yep, it's a spectacle, let me tell you. But that is my dirty little secret. I also love dressing up in any type of costume you can imagine. So here I am with my office mate dressed as the Shining Twins. Here I am with some buddies dressed up as Korn, smoking cigarettes for, some unknown reason. But if you give me a costume and a wig, I'm going to put it on. I love it. So the other thing I'm known about at Kirkwood is being kind of the crazy corgi lady. I love Welsh corgis. I currently have 3 of them. So this is Gertie, this is Pearl, this is Finn. Boji was my older guy, and unfortunately he passed away recently. But I still have 3. So I think we can agree that if you watch videos with corgis, the best thing about the corgi is their little butts. I mean, they're just fluffy. I mean, look at them. Look at it. It's adorable. I'm to the point in life where I dress them up in football jerseys. My favorite team is the Buffalo Bills. So yeah, we've reached that point of middle age where I dress up my dogs. I'm also a cat owner, not by choice, but I've had vet tech students who will tell me about special needs cats that can't get adopted. And so I have Eileen, who has 3 legs, Roman, who has 3 legs, Josh Troutman, who is named after Josh Troutman, who teaches in the math science department here at Kirkwood. He has a little backward paw right here. It looks like a hockey stick. And then, of course, I have Rosie. So Rosie has 1 eye. And you know what I do with her? Honestly, I do this. I put on googly eyes. Because I figure it makes her feel more whole, and she wears them until they fall off, and then I put a new one on. So, yep, she, as far as I'm concerned, has 2 eyes. Okay, so that's all the nonsense about me where you can decide that I'm a big weirdo and you want to drop the class. But let me tell you how I, kind of run my classroom. And, this goes the same for online students as well. So in terms of online, I hope that you will work. Actually, let me shut off this light finally. There, looks a little better. So I hope that you will work to take your quizzes and exams and turn in any assignments, such as your laboratory reports on time. The next big thing is that you communicate with me. Okay, so as a teacher, communication goes a long way. And the best way to get in touch with me is to use the Remind app, which you're going to have to download, and there will be instructions online for you to be able to do that. It's a texting app. And that's the way I receive messages from you the fastest because, as a typical human being, I usually have my phone with me. And so it's a much faster way to reach me as opposed to emailing me, which I may only check my email a couple times a day. But the key is if you're having an issue with a deadline, okay, just say, you know what, I had to go to the emergency room, or I work as a CNA and they made me stay an extra shift and so I wasn't able to take the quiz. You need to communicate with me directly and try to do it within 24 hours, okay? Or if you know that you're working late and you're gonna miss a quiz, let me know beforehand. So really proactive communication goes a long way with me in terms of altering deadlines for any of these, okay? So please communicate with me. Let me know what's going on. Respect, really in terms of online, respect yourself, okay? Obviously, please be respectful when you're communicating with me, and I will do the same to you, but give yourself a break, okay? The meanest person that I see like bullying students is actually the student doing it to themselves. They don't do well on an exam or a quiz, and so they think, oh, I'm just so stupid, everyone's doing better than me. And I can tell you that's not accurate. Okay, first of all, you're not stupid. You wouldn't be in college if you were stupid. Okay, so let's throw that one right out the window. And also, you don't know how other students are going or doing in the class. Okay, it's basically you against the material. So please try to be kind to yourselves. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people who are probably going to be jerks to you out in the world. So I don't want you to be a jerk to yourself. Okay, so be kind to yourselves. But also have personal accountability, okay? If you know you didn't study for an exam and then you didn't do well, own that, okay? And realize that's kind of an easy fix, okay? All you have to do is, put more time into studying and problem solved, okay? So, just have personal accountability. So for myself, I'm going to work as hard as I can to respond to your communications as soon as humanly possible. So I do teach face-to-face classes, and those usually go from 8 until about noon, Monday through Friday. So realize that, if you text me at 9 o'clock in the morning, I may not be able to get back to you until noon, just because I'm in class. But I'm certainly going to get back to you within 24 hours. And then if it's over the weekend, if I happen to be gone for the weekend, I'll get back to you by Monday. I'm also going to work to grade your work as soon as possible. So I'm hoping that every afternoon is going to be dedicated to my online courses and getting your grading done. Okay. Not that I'm always going to be successful, but I'm going to work as hard as I can on both of those things. I'm always going to be prepared. And I don't have an ego when it comes to the material. Do I know a lot about microbiology? Yes, I do, because I've basically been doing it for the last 35 years. But do I know everything? Absolutely not. Microbiology is a fast evolving field. There's always new discoveries being made. And like I said, there's going to be experiences that you've had in the clinical environment that I'm not going to know about. So please share those with me, and don't be afraid to challenge me. I don't have an ego. I want you to get the most accurate information. Okay. That also comes to your grades. If I incorrectly, let's say you take a quiz and you got 9 out of 10 and I gave you 8 out of 10, don't hesitate to tell me about that, because it was probably a typo. I have, I think, over 120 students this semester, and I'm grading for all of them. So there's a chance that I may put in a grade incorrectly, and don't hesitate to say something to me. Okay. I'm also going to work to earn your respect. I don't think that just because I have a PhD that you should automatically respect me the first day. Hopefully by, the end of the semester, you're gonna, I will have earned your respect by working hard. And I'm gonna be very fair in terms of deadlines. I'm not gonna let one person make up a quiz and then another person can make up the quiz if they both have the same excuses for being late. I will stick to the guidelines in the syllabus, and that's why it's really important for you to read the syllabus and to understand the policies. Okay, so why is it worth your time to take microbiology? Okay, and I know it's required for a lot of your programs. A lot of you are pre-nursing, respiratory therapy, dental hygiene, vet tech, whatever, pre-med. Maybe you just want to go on to major in microbiology at a 4-year school. But microbiology is always in the news, okay? The COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of people would like to pretend that it's over. It's not. There are new boosters coming out all the time. I'm hopeful that it's going to get to the point where it's just like an annual flu shot. But yeah, it's still ongoing, and people are still dying of COVID-19 in those more vulnerable populations. This, even though it's from 2019, is kind of a terrifying statistic that more people died of antibiotic-resistant bacterial infections than died worldwide of HIV and malaria combined. Okay, so bacteria becoming completely resistant to all of the antibiotics that we have available is a current issue, and it's terrifying. Okay, so we're going to talk a lot about that in the semester as well. Chapter 20 will cover that. Okay, and then you hear of these crazy stories that are rare, but yes, they can happen. The CDC, this was a headline from CNN, confirms a Nebraska child who died after swimming was infected with a brain-eating amoeba. So yeah, there are some nasty microbes out there that can cause significant damage and even kill you, okay? And it's not confined to bacteria. Luckily, a lot of these cases tend to be very rare. But even when you look at a typical news channel, normally there's something in there about a microbe, whether it's in a hospital environment or some other environment. Okay, so that's the end of my introductory PowerPoint. I just kind of wanted to introduce myself and the class. And yeah, we'll get started on day 1. Okay, thanks very much. Bye-bye.